Let's talk numbers. The first time a car numbered 10 ever won at Daytona in a Winston Cup race, 1985. Greg Sachs won the July 400 miler.
Oh, trouble.
Off turn 4, Michael Waltrip goes spinning in front of the pack, and here they come.
4 cars spinning. John Andretti, Kenny Wallace, 9 cars. Stacy Compton goes down pit road. Elliott Sadler gets caught up in it. Now they'll race back to the flag. And, you know, I think they'll get this cleaned up before the race is over. They'll get it restarted, but you want to be in front when you restart because you won't have many laps to go. So they're going to race right back to the flag.
That's right, Ned. The leaders have not taken the caution flag. The accident happened behind them. Here comes Benson up in turn number 3. Jarrett a car length behind him. Wallace trying to gain some ground. That's Burton in third. And then Bill Elliott. Wallace trying to gain on them. And here they come to the flag for the caution flag with 8 laps to go. Benson holds them at bay. And we'll have to see if we can clear the debris and get this race restarted.
And Elliott Sadler is sitting right in the grass at the start-finish line down here with the nose caved in on that car. They need to get out there and get that car out of the way. Too bad for him, though. That was a wreck he had nothing to do with. I was kind of looking at that wreck when it happened. Looked like Earnhardt might have got into, well, we'll wait and see the replay. I don't guess.
Damage to Kenny Wallace, one of the Winston Noble 5 bonus cars. And Sadler, the second-year driver from Virginia, trying to get his car into gear and back to the pits. Not going to happen. He takes the helmet off. And the 50th anniversary season for the Wood brothers of Stewart, Virginia, who've won this race 4 times, ends. Chad Little has spun under the caution here.
A lot of damage to the front of that car.
And Ed Barrier pulls away where Chad Little is. There's Elliott Sadler. He's okay. Car is not.
Boy, I guarantee you right now, Johnny Benson's heart's beating harder than any car around here today. I guarantee you. I've been in this position. You know it's probably going to be a drag race to the finish. And you're going, okay, all I have to do, and if anybody remembers Jeff Gordon missing the shift on the start, he had dominated the race in Pocono and come down to the last little bit of the race, missed the shift. So it's never won just because you're out front.
Now, one thing, this will be a single file restart. We're under 10 laps to go. So you won't have lap cars to contend with up there. Now, this caution could have helped Johnny Benson there because his tires, we were noticing his cars begin to wiggle a little bit. Those tires will get cooled off. He might be able to hold them off. Let's go to the pits and Dick Berggren.
I'm with Elliott Sadler. You okay?
Yeah, we're okay. We just, guys getting a little anxious there at the end and tried to stop, but the glare so bad I couldn't see Michael sideways in front of him. I couldn't tell which way his car was going and just T-boned him in the side. And just apologize to all the fans of Sitco. I tell you, we had us a good top 15 run going, and that's where we're going to finish. But again, Daytona bit us, so we'll try to get him back in Rockingham.
Last year, he only failed to finish in 2 races. Daytona 500 was one of them, Mike.
That's right, Dick. And here comes Earnhardt to pit road under the caution, along with Robert Presley and several other cars.
I expect they'll come in and take on new tires and just see if they can make a run for it here at the end.
Well, let's see what happened to bring out the 5th caution flag of the day. Michael Waltrip at the front of that group, the black and yellow car, down low.
And he gets the run, makes it 3 abreast coming off of the turn.
Coming out of the corner there, Earnhardt on the outside.
Oh, Earnhardt and Spencer got together.
Spencer, yes.
Shot Michael Waltrip spinning around right in front of the whole pack.
Second day in a row.
There comes the 21 car of Elliott Sadler right into Waltrip.
Kenny Wallace was down in the infield grass, and there was a car there he couldn't avoid. Now watch that car in the middle, Jimmy Spencer and Earnhardt up high.
Poor Michael Waltrip almost stayed out of that, but he got tagged there as they made contact. They came across the racetrack and hit Michael Waltrip.
Tony Stewart was touched by an angel in that one. He was right on Earnhardt's back bumper and missed it all.
Welcome back to Daytona.
It's the big one, gang. It's the big one. It's what we've all been fearing. This kind of racing is going to happen.
A horrible crash on the back straightaway that began when Tony Stewart got turned sideways against the backstretch wall number 20. Jason Leffler all torn up. The defending Cup champion, Labonte. Stewart, there's fire underneath the hood of Bobby Labonte's car. He's out. He's okay. This is the view. You see Tony Stewart moving inside his car. Steve Park's car demolished. And Stewart's car flew and then had a car land on it.
In front of his car, the roll cage is down on him. I tell you, and that doesn't look good. They're running in with the safety crew. There's Robbie Gordon, and I'm not so sure that car there didn't have something to do with the start of it. It looked like a yellow car got against the outside wall to me.
Ward Burton, perhaps the fastest car here, torn up. Robbie Gordon, damage to Jeff Burton, Kenny Wallace as well. They have made it back to pit road.
Dale Jarrett, here he comes down pit road, tore all the pieces.
I think we could tell it, say it easier. I only see about 7 or 8 cars out there that does not have damage.
Steve Park pounding the roof of his car in frustration. And Jarrett, for the second time in 3 years, is caught up in a melee.
Here's Mark
Martin, all torn up. Let's see what happened coming off turn 2.
It's happened up here. I think that this car right here, man, and look at, is that Stewart's car?
That's Stewart's car. Rode right across the top of Robbie Gordon's car, the 4 car.
I think everybody back up and look at it again. I think that the 4 and the 20 may have been that started that.
Stewart was the first car sideways. Here's the why.
Here's the 4 got into the back of Ward Burton, I believe.
And then Burton's 22 got into Stewart. And everybody scrambles.
That car is taking a whale of a ride, that 20 car is. It's getting hit. It's upside down. It's hit on its roof. It's on fire.
And here's another angle.
Coming off of turn 2 where we've said that it's the wind. Somebody got into the back of that car right there.
That's Ward Burton right there.
You saw a puff of tire smoke, and then everything let loose.
I think that's what started. Somebody got it back of Ward Burton off turn 2.
I'm pretty sure the 4 car got into the back of Ward Burton, turned him into the 20 car, and God help all of them because there's no place to go. And you can't see. And here we come off of turn 2 again. Right there. See, Ward Burton got pushed around by that car, and that's the 4 car.
And he got in the back of Tony Stewart. Of course, Tony Stewart going airborne here.
And it was Ward Burton's car being sideways that blocked up the track for everybody behind him.
Boy, and it gets hit by every car in the field, seems like, and Tony Stewart's car just took a whale of a ride. That must be at least 30 cars in that wreck.
From Tony Stewart's onboard camera.
Oh, my goodness. Bust us out there, Sammy. Back at Daytona, a massive accident down in turn 1 has claimed at least 15 cars. It started up toward the front of the field. You see the carnage scattered in the corner. Matt Kenseth, Johnny Benson, Ricky Rudd was in it. Oh, look at that. Kenny Wallace, John Andretti, Casey Atwood. Is that Jeff Gordon? Can't see.
I don't think so. I think Jeff Gordon. I think that Kevin Harvick spun. I think that Jeff Gordon was able to get underneath him. I don't know that for sure. Kenny Wallace' car is on fire, but he's quickly out of the car.
Todd Bodine's car there, just barely visible on the left of the screen.
Looks like everybody's window nets are dropped down.
Gordon made it through. What a scene.
Casey Atwood climbing out.
Good news. Look at his car. All torn up. At the tracks where they use the restricted engine package, Daytona and Talladega, all the drivers talk about the big one. Harvick is out of his car. They talk about the big one, the wreck that sweeps up a large number of cars. It's just happened 3/4 of the way through the race. Yep. Jerry Nadeau damaged in it. He's just driven back around to pit road. There's Bobby Hamilton. See the Hans device he's getting off his neck, the head and neck restraint. One of the 2 that are approved and mandated by NASCAR.
And that's the second car that Hamilton has torn up this week. I think Bobby Hamilton's telling the fire guy, hey guys, my car's on fire. How about come on over? Put it out.
Sixth caution of the 500, and it was a big one. Let's take a look at what happened. There's Kenny Wallace.
Out of the car, yeah. All right, Jeff Gordon and the Kevin Harvick make contact going down in turn 1.
And there we were talking about throwing the block, and that looks like what happened.
And the first 4 or 5 cars get through, and then about the 7th or 8th, I don't know, about the wherever the 43 car of Andretti, that was the next car to hit. And after that, there's no place for anyone to go.
That's right, the track just becomes completely blocked. Take another look. See well, that's kind of a little bit afterwards, but see Harvick slide back up.
How did Ward Burton get through that? Wow.
And all those cars on the inside, and then the hole closed up.
Add Jeremy Mayfield to the list of those involved, the 19 car.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. The best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. 57 laps complete this time by, and look at this pack. Trouble off turn 4. Newman slams the wall. Comes Schrader, and Newman is in the air and over. Brian Newman, last year's Rookie of the Year. The rear end ripped from the car as he slides down the asphalt, and when that car hit the grass of the tri-oval, Brian Newman went upside down.
Come on, boy, get out.
A crash on pit road. Bobby Labonte has slammed into Ken Schrader as Schrader slid through the infield grass.
And the problem was Schrader was already wrecked. They come down pit road. I don't think Schrader could control his car.
Ryan's moving in the car. So he is moving around trying to get out.
Not a whole lot he can do hanging there like that. I mean, he's got to have help. Pretty big boy. He doesn't want to.
Kenny Schrader's climbed out. Newman has signaled that he is okay. He is a strapping young fella.
Yes, he is.
Used to driving open wheel sprint cars.
I mean, Darrell, this is a predicament trying to get unhooked out of that car upside down.
Well, you got seat belts, you got the Hans device. I mean, there's just so many things. You got to have help. Man, it ripped the rear end housing right out from under that race car. When it dug into that grass right there, it just started tearing the car apart.
Brian Newman, USAC Silver Crown champ and Purdue University engineering graduate. He's going to climb out of that car with help, and here Bobby Labonte and Ken Schrader.
I think Schrader was in the grass and he was going down through here, and I think his car must have gotten out of control, and Bobby Labonte was coming along and he just slid over in front of him.
All right, you're looking down at Labonte's crew, looking to see if they have so much damage that they can't get back into the race.
There you see Ryan Newman right there.
Oh, yeah, he waved to the crowd. All right,
buddy. Second caution flag of the day. Newman's car got tipped into the outside wall and then slid through the infield. And when it got to the grass, it got airborne.
Let's watch her here and see what happens. Oh, Kenny Schrader got out of control, got into him. Oh, that's what happened, Mike. His right rear tire came off. Car goes airborne, then when it hits the ground, it digs in and just rips it apart. Let me tell you, the way these cars are inside, he's like he's in a capsule in there. And so these cars, they've done such an incredibly good job with the safety and protecting the driver in these cars. Look at that thing lift up, Larry.
Just takes off like an airplane.
That's 3,400 pounds, folks, just lifting up in the air like a feather.
And the right rear wheel digs into the dirt and tears the whole rear end loose from the car.
Yeah, if the tire hadn't come off of the wheel, it probably wouldn't have turned over like that. But once the tire came off, and it dug in and flipped it.
Now, when Schrader's car was heading down pit road, he was basically a passenger because the front end of his car had been heavily damaged.
And I think that's what happened at the end of pit road. He just couldn't control his car.
Yeah, here they come. Here comes Schrader. You can see the whole right side. Well, back there, his right side's all torn. Of course, he got into the wall.
The best news, driver number 12, Ryan Newman, climbed out of that car.
Push the 21 car right on by.
That 97 has shown to be fast, very fast.
And what's at stake for him here? He's
trouble.
Contact on the backstretch. It's Mike Waltrip and now Brian Vickers. Robbie Gordon, 31. The time. Waltrip's over. 1, 2. 3 times for Michael Waltrip.
Well, there's the big one right there. Took a lot. There's a lot of good cars right there. Is that Sterling Marlin in there?
40 cars in it. That's Michael Waltrip's car upside down.
Terry Smith.
See movement there at the left side of the car as we look at it. Caution flag is out. The field has slowed. And the safety and rescue workers already there attending to Michael Waltrip's car and the others involved in this big crash down the back straightaway.
And this is why NASCAR slow these cars down on the caution flag, to let the rescue workers get there to attend to these drivers as quickly as possible.
They've got there so much faster right now than they used to.
Oh, man, it's unbelievable.
And Wally, you know from your experience inside these race cars with all the safety restraints and so on, it's not a big cockpit area that a driver has to move around in, and Michael's not a small guy.
No, Michael's a big guy. You've got your Hans on. Michael's got some extra wires connected to this helmet because of the camera that he's carrying, like I was yesterday. So there's a lot of things that are connected to you. You can't move. On top of that, you're upside down. It's hard to get the steering wheel off, and then when you let go of the belts, you got to be careful not to fall on top of the steering wheel column. So you got to really try to get your bearings, and just, if you're not hurt, just take your time. Those guys are there, the fire guys are there, and if you can just take your time and get yourself unhooked, I think, obviously if the car's on fire, you're going to create ways to get out quick. But
there's Brian Vickers out of his car. Jamie McMurray in the accident. Driver with the star in his uniform, back left of the screen. He's out of his car. And the work continues around the Michael Waltrip machine.
And also the way the seats are around you, the headpieces, is very difficult for somebody like Michael.
If he's okay, the best thing they could do is turn the car over and then get him out, if he's okay.
Pit road is open. Let's check on the pit stops. Marty?
Alan Matt Kenseth in second place. He said, I need to be a little bit tighter if I'm going to run up front here. I about wrecked 6 times that time. Half a round down on the track bar, Dave.
More good news for Tony Stewart's no chassis changes this time. 4 fresh tires, plus the news that Michael's okay. Weber?
This should be routine. 4 tires for the 8 car, and fuel seemed to take a long time on the right front, Matt. The 24 is in. It's going to be a 4-tire change for Jeff Gordon. His car has started to come to him. Jimmy Johnson also in service. Great. It's going to be close. He's not going to beat the 20 and the 8 off pit road.
I think Jeff Gordon got there first.
Yeah. Good stop.
See the rest of the teams exiting pit road after their stops. And the work around the Michael Waltrip car to extricate him from that machine after it turned over at least 3 times down the backstretch. When the car slid off into the grass, I saw one of the tires leave the machine, and when that rim that was left on it dug into the grass, it just sent the car kind of cartwheeling over on its roof.
And when you're in a situation like that, you are just a passenger, especially when these cars start turning each other. Here you see, looks like Johnny Sauter slid up in the 30 car into Brian Vickers in the 25. A chain reaction.
Yes, that's Michael Tuckins. Yeah.
And Biffle, the pole sitter, looks like he barely got through there.
So you see the tire come off of Michael's car, then it got into that grass softened by the rain, and it just dug in, just like we saw Ryan Newman's last year, and sent the car over.
There's Harvick, Kevin LePage, Johnny Benson,
Terry Labonte. You saw McMurray and Vickers.
Okay, here we go. This might be our best shot.
Watch the car at the bottom there. The blue and yellow car. Slides up right there. Just ever so little contact, which doesn't look like a lot when you're running 185, 190 miles per hour. It's a lot.
There's the 15. The mountain right now, he's going to dig in. There goes one of the tires that Alan talked about. Violent.
Very violent. Yeah, when you hit that grass, hang on.
Now the 30 car, he comes up and just, it's like you said, Wally, another 6 inches probably would have not been an accident.
And it looks like the 30 to me got a little bit loose down there. He got a little bit loose, he corrected, but when he corrected, he slid up the racetrack, and unfortunately there were 2 cars on the outside of him.
So my count, at least 10 cars involved in this accident.
It's hard to tell if he got loose or he pushed up there, but
the end result is the same.
Yeah.
Michael hit by Robbie Gordon, and then here's the dig. Right there. Dig.
You can see just how high that he throws the dirt as the car goes over.
A couple other cars almost got on their lid, too. That was Kevin LePage in the 4 car got some air.
Harvick slides up in front of traffic.
Cars upside down, cars everywhere.
And turn 4 is Calamity Corner once again. The field is frozen. Jeff Gordon came across with Stewart and Johnson side by side, but there are half a dozen cars littered between turn 3 and the start-finish line.
He's all right.
Last year's third-place finisher, Scott Wimmer, the 29 of Kevin Harvick, 42. The 42 of Jamie McMurray.
One of these cars was just standing up on its nose, swimming, spinning around like a water spout.
Greg Biffle. Jeff Burton had lost an engine prior to this. He coasts onto pit road. And here's Harvick's car, the backup car, damaged, looking a lot like Thursday's car.
But guys, we could see this coming and smell this coming for about 3 or 4 laps.
Here's how it unfolded between turns 3 and 4.
Because something happened to Greg Biffle, the 16 car that triggered all this.
I believe, watch it and see if it's Harvick's car. Oh no, it's the 22 car.
Scott Wimmer.
Look at him just spinning around. He got up on his nose and come back down on his wheels. Boy, that old 4 turn, she's mean, boys.
Watch the 22 of Scott Wimmer, the yellow car, take a wild ride here.
What started at Greg Biffle came down in the 10, or the 10 went up to Greg Biffle. They got together anyhow.
The luckiest man there was Rusty Wallace. Got a little tap, but kept on going.
Now watch Wimmer. Over once, twice, 3 on his nose, 4, wham.
Huge.
So initial contact, the 10 and the 16, right there.
Looked like Biffle in the 16 actually came down into Scott Riggs in the 10. And Darrell, when you're flipping like that, it probably seems like eternity, don't it?
Oh, listen, I can't tell you what it does to you. You just pray that when you stop that you can remember what happened.
I think Scott Wimmer will remember this one for a long time.
Oh. A multi-car crash has just occurred in turn 3. Kyle Petty is involved. J.J. Yaley in the 18. That's Carl Edwards in the 99.
Someone spun going in turn 3 and backed across the racetrack in front of all these cars and left them no place to go. Might have been Kyle. I'm not sure exactly who it was.
Here are the replays. We're under caution at Daytona.
No tire on that left rear, BP, the 45 car. Let's see, there's Jeff. Oh, wow.
Jeff Green breaks loose through the grass, then up the track.
Kind of a strange crash, really.
Joe Nemechek.
Almost, I mean, right in the door.
Looked like Schrader did a good job getting around it in the 21.
And left those guys with absolutely no place to go. And we see what happened to the left rear of the 45. The 99 car just knocked off the tire and the quarter panel of the left rear.
Hard impact there. Carl Edwards into Kyle Petty.
Not sure why Jeff Green lost it there going into the corner. Kind of it looked a little bit strange, BP. I couldn't put my finger on why he lost it before he even got to the corner.
Yeah, I think we probably need to back up just a little bit and see if we can have some idea what happened. I'm not sure exactly. I'm like you.
And there Busch lagged back a little bit. Is he going to get help? Is he going to come? He's looking.
Back behind you.
He almost squeezed Harvick into the wall, and here comes Harvick, the 29, with Matt Kenseth.
Oh, Mark got loose. Mark got loose.
Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line.
Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start-finish line.
Still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. Boyer's on fire. Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
And they are still wrecking.
Montoya, Stremme, Kenseth, Biffle, Marlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Mears all crashed on the final lap. Have you ever?
Well, a couple of times.
I'm going to repeat what I heard a few years ago. No, I have never.
I got so excited I broke the damn mirror in the house.
Jeff Gordon's day ends about like his teammates.
Clint Boyer came across the start-finish line on his roof.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
David Stremme's climbed out. He is okay. Sterling Marlin, who slid across to a stop.
Well, Larry, let's see. Are they going to run these cars anymore?
They were intending on it, but I don't think many of them will.
It may be a good time to bring the old car tomorrow out.
What was the margin of victory for Kevin Harvick? Unofficially 2 100ths of a second.
I thought Mark had him. I thought he was going to hold him.
And Mark Martin, a bridesmaid once again.
He's got to be thrilled, though. What a finish.
Bakersfield, California's Kevin Harvick, who took over the seat in what became the 29 after the death of Dale Earnhardt, stormed up the outside. Kyle Busch couldn't hold him off. He had a full head of steam into turn 3.
There was no question you were going to have to go the outside. Mark was not going to give up the inside. What happens back here is Kyle Busch gets on the apron ever so slightly, gets into the 17, and it's on from there. Look at the 38 car up on top of somebody. There's a car turning over.
Look at this finish.
And it's a drag race to the line, and we've seen Harvick do that before.
Yes, we have.
Watch the 07. It'll come in here from the right. In the bottom lane, Clint Boyer gets slid sideways. Whammo.
And he'll cross the start-finish line unofficially upside down in the 18th position.
On fire. I mean, that's Joey Chitwood couldn't do that. Goodness. That's terrifying.
Spinning down pit road, actually hit the pit wall.
Until now, 1976 and 79 were the wildest Daytona 500 finishes ever. New one for the record books. Sorensen driving the famed number 43 that Richard Petty took to victory lane here 7 times.
And all of those cars are cars that had made green flag stops prior to that caution. Boy, Brian Vickers, Dale Earnhardt Jr., that ain't going to work, boys.
Vickers hard. Here we go. Busch, the dominant car of the day, in the wall.
That was wrong.
And 10 cars sliding, slamming into the infield.
Jimmy Johnson, totally uncalled for. Totally.
I don't care who you are. That was just wrong.
Caution is out. McMurray was a contender. He's all torn up. And the dominant car of the day, that of Kyle Busch, is a victim of this pileup. Let's look first from the DirecTV blimp.
This is the result of a driver that's a little frustrated.
All right, there's Brian Vickers. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 right up there at the front on the inside. Coming off 2 down the back straightaway. Junior gets a good run.
Vickers puts a little block on him. And then you be the judge.
Let's reiterate the rule. You are not allowed to advance your position below the yellow line. If you are forced below the yellow line, you must come back up and blend in.
Vickers puts the block on him, and then Junior just turns right back into the racetrack, right in the left rear of Brian Vickers.
Saw a similar situation like that yesterday in the nationwide race.
And the results are a good 8 to 10 race cars torn up.
Now Vickers makes a legal move coming down to block Dale Jr. But instead of blending in, Jr. caught the back end of Vickers' Toyota.
And of all the cars in that crash, you have to feel for Kyle Busch. He had led 88 laps, far more than anyone else today, but his number 18 is junk.
Just all of this uncalled for, mainly with 75 laps to go in this race.
Casey Kane now in the second row inside.
Got a smoker down in turn 1, guys.
Car spins and gets collected down off the banking between turns 1 and 2. Regan Smith is in it. Brad Keselowski and Keselowski's teammate, the 77 Sam Hornish, are all involved.
And I mean, Jeff Gordon in that 24 just squeaked by.
And, you know, most of the wrecks we've seen down here have actually started mid-pack and back.
First caution of the day. Oh, Max Pappas from Como, Italy, his first 500. He's on the apron.
Another one.
And Sam Hornish, IndyCar star. There is Gordon. No apparent damage to the left side of his Chevy. And Regan Smith, the young driver from outside Syracuse, New York. Boris Said has his car torn up.
I don't know if it lost an engine or I'm not sure a tire or something happened. I looked over in the turn 1 there and there's smoke. You see the smoke.
Right behind the yellow car is the number 12 of Keselowski. And you see him just get a little loose right there. He gets up into the wall, collects Smith and Hornish.
I believe that 12 car had something happen to it, like it may have lost a right rear tire or something. There's really no reason for it to step out like that.
So Roger Penske had 3 cars in this race, and that gets 2 of them, the 12 and the 77. There you see Gordon just squeaking by in that 24.
Remember, Carl Edwards is one of those who had to start this race at the back of the pack due to changes.
Right here in front of you. A lot of smoke. Slow it down. Slow it down.
And he goes to the apron to ride through this off the 31-degree banking.
There's one thing about a car here. It's going to go up the hill, it's going to go down the hill, and it just might go back up the hill. So you got to miss it twice if you try to go low.
Keselowski and Hornish have taken their cars to the garage. Some of the others have come to pit road for repair.
Home 200 miles an hour.
Closer together than most people park.
Yeah, 200 miles an hour with somebody pushing.
Trouble turn 3.
Big wreck.
Brian Keselowski, David Rudeman, Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth,
big
and
wreck.
half the field.
I see about 3 of the Hendrick cars there that's involved.
Mark Martin is there. I see him. There's a Biffle. Jimmy Johnson's laying over there. There's a 24 car. Looks pretty bad.
Brian Vickers limping around. And Mark Martin is part of it. Greg Biffle got a piece of it. Joe Nemechek's right front all torn up. The 9 of Marcus Ambrose.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, Larry. They're running awfully close together.
Watch the top right of your screen coming
right up
in.
Here.
Michael into his teammate Rudeman.
Got Rudeman loose.
Right in front of Keselowski. Here comes Nemechek. Pow into Michael.
Look at, nope, didn't make it. Didn't make it.
Brian Keselowski, we just talked about, was involved. That white car up against the wall there.
There's Mark Martin down here, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. My. Let's see if we can see anything. Well, there's not a whole lot to see. Michael just got into the back of the. Tony Stewart did the same thing to Michael in the Bud shootout. Got into him pretty hard and turned him around right there and got Michael with it.
And Darrell, everybody was going to the apron, but those cars sliding off 31 degrees of banking, that's where they're going to end up.
It's kind of an old saying down here. What goes down must come up. And you try to go around on the outside if you can.
Jimmy Johnson's 48 just barely got into the back of Matt Kenseth to do enough damage to the right front.
The old Aaron Stream machine, she's done.
Marcus Ambrose is going to the garage for repair. Michael Waltrip's car comes steaming toward the garage.
Brian Vickers in the 83 car gets a lot of damage. Marcus Ambrose in the 9.
Look at that, 3 Hendrick cars, 24, 48, and 5, all slamming into each other.
Ford teammate Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, 3 Fords.
Hurdle already.
The wall. Slams to the outside. It's 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson. He collects Danica Patrick and the 34 of David Reagan.
Trevor Bayne, the 21 car, winner from last year. You see him involved.
Kurt Busch is involved.
I'm a little worried about Jimmy. He took a hard lick right in the door. And there's the HendrickCar.com Chevrolet of Kurt Busch. He's got damage.
1 lap and 600 feet, and it's calamity.
Oh my gosh. Jimmy took a really, really hard lick, that second lick.
David Reagan's Ford, his first outing for Front Row Motorsports. Busch will make it back around to the pits.
Both of our winners from the Daytona races last year. Trevor Bayne won the 500. David Reagan won the July race.
When you see the replay of this and you see what Danica did, you won't believe it.
All right, let's keep an eye on Jimmy Johnson. He's right tucked up underneath the 78 of Regan Smith.
Ooh, just got a little tap in the back end.
I believe that might have been Elliott Sadler in 33.
Elliott Sadler gave him just a little tap. Right here's what I was talking about. Watch Danica. Right there, she gets some damage, but then watch her go down. Jimmy's car's totaled, but watch her right here, right between those 2 cars. Oh, trouble, big trouble.
Mid-pack. Sliding and spinning into the infield, McMurray. And sliding up the racetrack, 1 car going to coast to the bottom. That's Eric Almirola. Regan Smith was in it, and Casey Kane.
Got a little wobble.
I believe he blew a left rear tire. That thing started wiggling around, and as he came into the tri-oval, it spun out, and when it came to a stop, you can see the left rear tire is completely torn apart. So I think he had a cut tire, and the thing just got away from him.
Watch that orange and black number 1.
Yeah, right
side of your screen.
Right here. He starts wobbling right here, and then the car starts goes around, and it looked like a top. I saw that orange car just spin around, and look at Tony Stewart right there getting right through that mess.
Well, Stewart did get some damage in the first part of that crash,
yes,
though, Darrell.
He did. Yes, he did.
And from Casey Kane.
Whoa, Keselowski almost went over.
And we'll ride with Regan.
3 wide, 3 wide. 43 still outside. Right there, you see it.
I don't think he can see anything.
He almost made it through. Got some damage right there near the end of it.
Tony's going around, another wreck through the tri-oval.
Kyle Busch, hard slide through the grass, no contact. At least half a dozen cars involved in this one.
He gets a little push from behind, maybe from Joey Logano.
He and Stenhouse go around. Newman and Busch.
And Newman and Busch was actually in front of Tony a little bit when that started happening.
Have to take a couple more looks at that. Right there. Stenhouse got into the side, and Stenhouse in the 6 got into Tony.
I'm not sure, though, that David Gilliland didn't get into the back of Stenhouse and push him up into Tony.
Could have to look at it again.
That's about the 2nd or 3rd wreck we've seen on the exit of the tri-oval. It just starts narrowing up right there.
Cars are really free and loose right through the tri-oval. I'm telling you, you run at 200 miles an hour through there, it's hard to hang on sometime.
You saw there where Kyle Busch in the 18 jumped down in front of Ricky Stenhouse in the 6.
I know Stenhouse hit Tony. I'm not sure if he got forced into him Here's smoke right out here.
All right, there's Stenhouse with Gilliland behind him.
No, you know what? The 20 car and the 6 car make a little contact.
You're right.
And I'm not sure that didn't move the 6 car up, Stenhouse up just enough that he got into the left rear of Tony Stewart.
So let's regroup here. Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse make contact. Stenhouse moves up into Tony Stewart.
Coming across at you. Get rolling here if you can. Leader 2.
At first, Ken's at second with a push from Gordon. Oh, Kane! Kane gets around, slides across the track. Dillon misses him. More carnage down toward turn number 1. Montoya, Harvick.
For real low apron.
All with damage as the caution comes out.
Yeah, the 18 just got down on that inside, caught the left rear corner of the 5 car. That's a real vulnerable spot, and gave him a little tap and sent him sailing.
What a close call for Joey Logano on that 22. He was all the way down in the grass and dodged it.
Yeah, these guys on further down the track, they really got in it afterwards when people were slowing down.
Kane sideways, comes across the nose of Montoya. Logano misses him.
And Darrell, that was coming out of that trial where you're running so fast with very little banking to hold you.
Somebody got into the back of Kevin Harvick's number 29, sending him down and then up into Stewart.
Trouble turn 1, guys.
1 car down, spinning. Trevor Bayne up to the wall, collects another. That is Carl Edwards. The 5th wreck that Edwards has been involved in this spring. The 34 of David Reagan involved, and that's the 35 of Riverside, California's Josh Wise. We're under caution for the 4th time today.
Ooh, looked like possibly.
But it looked like they started accordioning up in front of Brad Keselowski.
Very similar to what we saw at the start of the race, Larry. Just somebody slowed up a little bit and it caused that accordion effect.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 17, he just basically stopped.
Is going to crash big.
Crash out of turn number 4. A multi-car pileup. Eric Almirola, his car all torn up. That is Michael Waltrip, who will not win his 3rd Daytona 500. David Gilliland's car is crashed. Almirola's gone straight to the garage with his number 43. Gilliland stuck in the mud, and Danica Patrick.
And Mike, Danica, she pounded that outside wall head on first.
Let's watch the action coming out of turn number 4. And let's have a look for Eric Almirola on the right side in the 43.
It looked like the 33 car of Brian Scott, something. And watch Danica right there. Man, that was a lick.
Brian Scott down right next to, and Kevin Harvick makes contact in the 4.
That's what shot
Scott.
Yep. That's what shot the 33 up the hill. I knew something had to happen because he just abruptly, the 33 abruptly turned to the right and went up the hill. We got our pole sitter involved. Danica.
Austin Dillon, Danica Patrick, Michael Waltrip among those involved. There's Waltrip coming off the outside wall. He collects Justin Allgaier in the 51.
Paul Menard at 27, been fast all night.
Paul just can't catch a break down here this week.
David Gilliland into the mud, and thanks, Krista. Dale Earnhardt.
Whoa, here we go.
Big crash again. Turn 4. It's Calamity Corner. There's rookie Reed Sorensen sliding down off the banking. Big damage to the Ford of Marcus Ambrose, number 9. And caution waves with 38 laps to go.
Marcus Ambrose with a bunch of damage there. The 7 car. Something seemed, somebody broke loose in the pack. I couldn't tell if there was contact.
Rookie Michael Annett, heavy damage on his pilot Chevy. Marcus Ambrose. And let's have a look. Watch the 3 of our pole sitter Austin Dillon. We're under caution in the Daytona 500.
Fighting in the top 5.
Man, look at those cars move around. We're running over 200 miles an hour, and these guys are using every bit of the skill they have. They're trying to, got another car.
Up goes Ryan Newman. Justin Allgaier, Brian Scott, Terry Labonte.
Gone.
Cole Witt.
Right at the back of the field.
Unless they can get this cleaned up in a hurry, this is not going to be good for those drivers up front that are very marginal on fuel.
Parker Kligerman involved as well. Both the Swan Racing cars torn up in this one.
Well, they did that earlier in the week, and they were just lucky to piece everything together to make this Daytona 500, and now they've got a couple of more torn up cars. What a bad bunch of luck for them.
6th caution flag with 6 laps to go, and Terry Labonte's dreams of winning the Daytona 500.
It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence, Mike and Larry, that you get down to the end of the race, we have these kind of things happen. I mean, like I said, you just can't give anymore. Well, it looks like the 3 car of Austin Dillon got into the back of the 31, gave him a shove, and it got him loose.
And I think Ryan Newman in the 31, Darrell, was checking up for something in front of him.
Plus, it just as he was about to turn off in the corner as well.
He got a little bump.
Here's another look. Watch the cat Chevy of Newman, 31.
Man, it just, that little bump, and it turned him. It's just in that vulnerable spot going into that corner. The car's a little free right there.
Casey Mears in that 13 somehow got through there.
I think he's done that all night.
He has.
This happened back about 14th place.
Man, they are grinding. I mean, that's just grinding it down right there.
Brandon Davis, owner of Swan Racing, 50 Cents, one of their sponsors. They were going to have 2 cars finish in the top 20 of the Daytona 500. There they are, the 30 and the 26. They're going to finish on the rollback. Frankie Stoddard's car for Terry Labonte, who said after he qualified Thursday in the dual race, this would be. Field drops back out of play, 3 wide. Big cluster coming off turn number 4. Smoke, trouble, way in the back, but here come the leaders.
The question is, are they going to throw the yellow, or are they going to let them race back?
7, 8 car pile up in the back straightaway. Caution is out.
Joe Logano.
Keep coming. Just stay on the gas. Back straightaway. Stay on the gas. Coming to easy here. They say roll out of the throttle.
It's over, boys. It's over.
Middletown, Connecticut's Joey Logano wins the Daytona 500.
Daytona 500, guys!
Green flag stops.
Whoa, Kyle Busch is around. Big wreck.
Wow. There's
Dale Jr. got involved.
Oh, Junior's in it, and Matt Kent's is.
And Ty Dillon and Eric Jones are all piled up in turn 3.
What the heck happened?
The 18 just turned around. I don't know if he got himself in a unique position, or the car got loose right there going in the corner, or he had a tire going down, but it just turned around in front of everybody.
I don't know. What happened to that 18 car? I'm like you, Joe. I just saw him start to get sideways.
Kyle Busch, one of the favorites for the 500, and try to repair it.
All right, let's see what we got.
There's Kyle Busch.
All by himself.
Boy.
Oh, it just turned. I mean, that has to be a tire. There's no way that car just jumped around like that without something happening to it. I mean, he just lost. That thing just went sideways.
They were working their way through some slower traffic right here. I can't imagine that there was an aero situation there, but
something cut that tire.
Definitely
Did he contact? Did he make contact with that car he was passing?
It's a good question.
I didn't see any, but we can look at it again. He's just right there. He's all by himself. Now watch. All of a sudden, that car goes around like a left rear tire maybe went down.
Before that, he and Michael McDowell were pretty close together on the racetrack.
Junior go up on two wheels.
Jimmy Johnson
on the inside.
scoots through.
No, that thing just turned around, Mike, all by himself.
You're right. McDowell was nowhere near him.
Right. Down the back straightaway, cars get a little bit loose and crazy as they get the end of the back straightaway.
I mean, do they think it's 10 to go?
Trouble. Here we go. Here we go.
Jimmy Johnson got turned, and they pile up behind him.
14:48. I mean, the whole crowd. There's a 10. Wow. Lord have mercy. There you go.
Fifth caution flag of the day. 7-time series champ Johnson. Clint Boyer is in it. There's Jimmy's Chevrolet all torn up, and he's climbing out. DJ Kennington just drove into the garage after that one.
Goodness gracious.
Joey Gase, Denny Hamlin. Now watch Jimmy Johnson outside, second row.
Oh, they got four wide. What happened was the one car, he snuck to the outside of the 48 getting into turn 3, and the 6 tried to go to the inside. Just not enough room to make it 4 wide right there.
And Mike, I know you won't. The cars are the most difficult to hang on to at the end of that back straightaway. They're light right there. Any touch, any move can spin you out.
I got you. I've not only seen this, I've been a part of this. Jamie McMurray pulls this move a lot. He sticks his nose just right there on your right rear quarter panel, nudges his way in there, and makes some great moves, but it is very aggressive.
Caution is out once again for a big pileup in turn 3. On the inside, excuse me, that's Kane. Oh, big trouble.
But they wrecked. Did they not wreck?
Oh, they're wrecking.
Suarez to the inside along with Newman. Cars piling up to the outside and all the way across the track.
Was that?
They're still wrecking.
Oh, McMurray's involved. It almost looked like the rear bumper of possibly Chase Elliott got turned into somebody.
Ty Dillon
straight.
What a mess. Good grief.
Landon Castle. Brad Keselowski.
Yeah,
Daniel Suarez.
Brad's car was untouched, I thought, the last time I looked, at least the right side, but boy, now he's got heavy damage.
Yeah. All right, let's see what
one of the cars we'll keep an eye on.
That's the one right there.
Jamie McMurray.
And the 24 in front of him.
Oh, he tries to go to the inside, make it 3 wide.
Yeah.
Gets to the left rear bumper of the 24 of Chase Elliott, turns him down into, I think that's Michael McDowell, and that just starts a chain reaction. Boy, McMurray's just super aggressive. I don't think those Hendrick teammates are going to be real happy with him.
Oh, goodness. This is amazing.
Right.
This is amazing.
McMurray into the back of, Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
So
McMurray's going to try to go 3 wide, and there isn't any room.
Guys, one of the things that happens when you're pushing somebody, you're in control of their car. And what that does is create an opportunity for you to jump inside or outside of them. And it works sometimes, but man, is it risky. You never know if you're going to be able to get inside or if they're going to block you, and that's exactly what happened. He kind of got Chase a little bit out of shape. He went to go inside there, and Chase, I don't think he had anything he could do. It just almost turned him.
Well, when the
cars come shooting across to the inside of the track, watch this 31 of Newman do a whole lot of agricultural racing right here. Wow.
Like snow plows.
Jeffrey Earnhardt,
which is not useful in Florida.
We're under caution again for a multi-car crash in the Daytona 500 on Fox.
Playoff and stage points.
19 stage wins he had last year.
The NASCAR is still reviewing the number 22 of Logano to see if he will be penalized. Look at this! Oh, Stenhouse! He saved it!
No, Erik Jones is not going to be able to save it.
Jones did not.
Come on.
Jones, his teammate Suarez, William Byron, Jimmy Johnson are all in it along with Ty Dillon. Oh,
Trevor
goodness.
Bayne was able to weave his way through there.
Caution and the green and white checkered flag to end stage 1 with Kurt Busch the stage winner, Alex Bowman in second, Ricky Stenhouse third.
It's too early for those types of aggressive moves. You don't need to do, I know stage points are important, but the Daytona 500 is the most important thing.
Big picture. What's wrong with these people? Can they think big picture?
Daniel Suarez, all torn up. Trying to be the first non-American born 500 winner since Mario Andretti in '67.
Jimmy Johnson.
It won't happen today.
Jimmy Johnson might get his third race.
He's not running a race without damaging the car this week.
Half of Team Hendrick and half of Joe Gibbs Racing taken out in that crash.
Oh well.
There is Erik Jones, last year's Rookie of the Year. Such high hopes for him today. The blimp is a great view to sort out what happened here. 3 wide. Look at the orange number 19 and the 88.
So the 12 of Blaney goes try to make a move on the 17 of Stenhouse. He blocks it. They make contact. Great save by Stenhouse, but so much momentum coming with the 20 of Erik Jones. When he gets into the back of the 17 of Stenhouse, his car starts going around on him.
What a shame. What a shame.
Big push coming from Elliott and Keselowski. Contact! Elliott slam into the wall.
Are you kidding me?
Danica Patrick, Casey Kane.
Oh man.
You all right? Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, took the wind out of Chase Elliott.
Yeah, that was
Elliott, Kane. Here's
violent.
Danica Patrick and Kevin Harvick.
Man, Mike,
all this
guys,
blocking going on.
Well, it's at the end of these stages, and everybody, I mean, it's like all of a sudden everybody says, I want to win a stage.
And Keselowski, the pre-race favorite, has the right front torn off of his car, as does David Reagan. Chase Elliott climbs out. Part of running in the draft is having that big push from behind. Sometimes push comes to shove.
Let's watch how all this materializes. That's turns 1 and 2. You can see some shuffling already going on between Chase Elliott and the block from Ryan Blaney. Now here comes a big run. The 2's going to get to the rear bumper. He's being pushed by Truex. He gets to the rear bumper of the 9 of Chase Elliott. Last second from, at least from that, big hit. Yeah. And you see Keselowski got down on the apron. It turned him around. So it looked like the 9 went to block the 2 because he was going to make a move.
Low. Go hard.
Harvick just gets clipped by the 2 of Keselowski.
Check up. Get up. Come on. Check up inside. Just inside. Watch him slide across. You're good, low. Keep coming. At the bottom. Watch him at the bottom.
How many amazing close calls has Alex Bowman already had this year?
Vicious hit for Chase Elliott. Led about a dozen of them down pit road, Matt.
A lot of debris on the racetrack. Alex Bowman on pit road. He got doored on both sides of the race car earlier, but they didn't really see any kind of damage. He was concerned about that. Jackman, Dustin Lineback, a little bit of a trip there coming around to the left side. He signals, we're good to go.
Right rear damage to Kevin Harvick. The sheet metal disconnected from the chassis there, and Clint Boyer, they're going under the hood on his Ford. Chase Elliott gets turned around and around, and it's mayhem. Turn 3.
Incredible, these runs that come so fast. You cannot protect against that run.
Oh, Kurt Busch around off the bumper of Blaney.
Inside, caution, watch your inside. You should be the leader.
Looks like
Truex
yesterday.
not able to avoid this one, or Bowman.
Oh, Bowman's got it. Benedetto, Stenhouse, a bunch of them.
DiBenedetto all torn up.
I mean, we keep seeing these big runs coming, and with so much momentum, it's so hard to block that, but that's what you have to do to keep the lead if you're going to win this race.
Kurt Busch turned around looking for the white flag.
Did we see this coming? I think so.
Stenhouse.
Brendan gone.
Alex Bowman, the pole sitter. Matt DiBenedetto. Boy, that little team could have really used a great finish here.
Mike, as they go across the line, and now look at our top 10 flash up here. Unbelievable. The guys that are in the top 10. Hamlin put a block on the 41.
Yeah, that's stalled out the 41. The 12's right in that area, that left rear that turns him around.
Yep.
And it was Alex half the field.
It was on from there.
It has become the war of attrition 500.
Well, as soon as Blaney poked his nose to the left rear quarter panel of that 41, around it went, just like we've seen all week.
Yep.
Let's watch from the rear bumper cam of Denny Hamlin.
Bottom. Inside. They're wrecking behind us. Inside. Caution, watch your inside.
This is all air, folks. That's just air coming off the front nose of that 12 car and pushing on that left side quarter panel of the 41. Of course, then they finally made contact.
Wadded up a bunch of race cars. Oh, my goodness.
It looks as if as many as eight lead lap cars made it through unscathed. Wow. What a shower of sparks.
It's like a really bad video game.
And some of those eight, like Ryan Newman and maybe Allmendinger, do have some damage.
But those are, what about these shots?
Here comes Kyle Busch with a push from Boyer on the inside.
Oh, no, DiBenedetto! And everybody!
Good.
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me? This is big. Wow. But it.
Boy, it just reminds me of the Clash. Same type of carnage that we saw where these cars were going everywhere. A lot of damage as they all got to turn 3.
Well, that ruined everything.
I mean, sometimes I'm speechless. I'm speechless.
You know, there's just those feel-good stories that build in a race, and boy, Matt DiBenedetto was doing such an amazing job.
Oh man, I know he was.
So let's go to the Goodyear blimp as drivers climb out or try to make their way back to pit road, and look at the outside lane. DiBenedetto and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Paul Menard giving a pretty nice push down the back straightaway to DiBenedetto. Gets to his right rear. Oh, yeah, that just starts to turn him a little bit.
Got him in the right rear.
And then he collects Menard.
Yeah.
Logano just misses it, but the whole outside lane and half the inside pile up.
And this is exactly what we were just talking about. At this stage in the race, you can start to taste
victory in the Daytona 500. You want to see that checkered flag, and you'll do anything to get it, and you know you've got to be more aggressive with those bump drafts.
It looks exactly like the Clash. I mean, all those cars, third turn, all those cars wadded up, sliding up the track with sparks flying. It looks so much like the Clash.
That is the 17th of February, looking way too much like the 4th of July.
Amen.
Fireworks everywhere.
Yeah, and it really and truly, it was Paul Menard. He gave to Benedetto a little shove, but it was on the outside, on the right side, and that just turned the Benedetto into the outside wall, and then it was on from there.
And a different situation than we saw in the clash between Menard and with Jimmy Johnson, but it was a similar thing when we heard the spotter on the 21, Menard say, well, he zigged and we zagged.
And in this case, Menard told his team on the radio, I just bumped him a little too hard.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's the end of the race. You're trying to help that guy. You're trying to help the Benedetto. You're not trying to wreck him, but just bad judgment. Look at that 10 car.
Almirola's number 10.
Look at David Reagan underneath the 10 of Almirola.
David Reagan, see what springs he's running. Look at that.
All those sparks flying.
My gosh.
Man, amazing shots.
And all Almirola wanted was a chance to win it on the last lap.
Yeah, well, he didn't
like last year.
Didn't quite get there. Close.
And I got to believe our two leaders right now, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, were really wanting and hoping to have another Toyota there and De Benedetto to help them pull off this victory today. Going to be a little bit tougher for them to hold off those Fords, and some Chevys are moving up also.
Amazing camera work by our Fox Sports crew. You're riding with Joey Logano.
No run. Keep on, no. Keep coming, you're inside. Come on, get away from me.
Just one too many pushes there, Mike.
Saved by McDowell. Oh, here we go. They wrecked again.
Larson and Stenhouse. You won't believe how Ryan Preece shot the gap and got through there. I can't believe it.
The 22 hooks him a little bit, but actually this wreck ended up happening because the 17 of Stenhouse dove to the middle. There really wasn't much of a hole there. Collects a 42 of Larson, the 4, knocks the 4
Kevin Harvick,
Kevin
he goes
Harvick
up the hill, hits the wall, and here comes the 13, gets into the 2, spins him around. Holy smokes. I thought the truck race that night, they had 6 trucks or 7 that were running at the finish. I thought, I'd never seen anything like that.
Oh, Boyer gets turned. Yeah, looked to me like he came up just a little bit too early on McDowell.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
And William Byron's luck runs out.
Get through that one.
What memo did we not get? I mean, this is crazy.
Here's where he comes off that yellow line just a little bit too early. I don't know if the air on the right side brought him up or if he just decided to try to get up in front of him, but just a little bit too early in front of McDowell in the 34. Ooh, big hit right there. 00 landing Castle to the side door of William Byron.
Well, let's ride with Ryan Preece because you won't believe this, chapter 2.
Coming there. Stay with that 14. He's rolling there. 3 wide, just 3 wide. Stay down, stay down. All right, you're good. Just stay.
Now somebody's got some luck on his side, or
Chase Elliott.
Skill.
3 wide. 2 wide. Back to 3. Oh, we're wrecking again. We had such a run.
Oh, William took 2 hard hits to the driver's side door. One from Clint Boyer, and then the next one later by Landon Castle.
Kyle Larson's view.
I love it. He's all the way down to second gear.
Gosh. Oh, my Lord. I'd like to explain all this to you, but there really isn't an explanation for it.
I just wish Boyer could have stayed down on that yellow line. That was going to put him in such a great position.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
You know, Boyer was not a happy camper about where he had to restart. And, of course, he was trying to get back to where he was. He was running third. He almost made it.
Now, to establish that restart order, NASCAR freezes the field on the caution, goes back
to the last scoring loop where everyone was running prior to the moment of caution. That's how they reset the order. The 20, Eric Jones.
Ooh,
shoots
boy,
through.
He did just thread the needle there. Barely made it through.
Let's ride along.
Oh man, the gates just parted. I mean, everything opened up. He went right through.
Trouble.
Hey, Greg. Here's the big one. Man.
Well, there goes half the field.
Sure does.
And it's Ryan Newman leading them around.
Jimmy Johnson. Hopes in his final Daytona 500.
Kurt Busch, another former Daytona 500 winner. Brad Keselowski trying to win it for the first time, all torn up. Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, one of the fastest Fords in this entire field. And here's Martin Truex, who couldn't get back to the lead pack and gets all torn up. Smoke out the exhaust pipe.
That's not a tire problem for the 18 of Kyle Busch.
We are, of course, under caution with 15 to go. Watch the outside line here, Jeff.
You can see Joey Logano really aggressive to the rear bumper of the 10. He's going to push him all the way up to the 2. And they just, right before the 10 gets there, there's a little bit of movement. And that little bit of movement, when you make that much contact, turns your car right around. That's exactly what happened to Brad Keselowski and the 10 of Almirola.
And that happens right in front of most of the field.
And that really all started with a big push from Joey Logano. Remember Joey Logano talking on the radio earlier about, you got to tell me when I'm pushing that car and it's going to make contact with the car in front of us. Well, that happened right there with his teammate.
Here's our Ford onboard camera with Logano.
You can hear he started to lift, but unfortunately Almirola's car started sort of swaying back and forth right before he made contact with the 2. Hooks his bumper, turns him around.
Oh, he slammed Alex Bowman. And then it's on. And for the second time in less than a handful of years, Eric Almirola. 2 to go.
Boy, that was just textbook by Denny Hamlin. Can he put the block on? Oh, car. Oh, 77.
They're right behind you.
That was Ross Chastain. Got down on the apron, turned him sideways up the racetrack.
Straight into Ryan Preece.
And we have involved.
Another multi-car pileup. With 2 to go, we'll go to overtime. There's the Connecticut Kids car.
Joey Logano.
Logano's got a flat left rear and trouble on the right front. Ty Dillon stuck in the grass, no rear deck lid or spoiler.
Well, that's a big hit by Ross Chastain.
He wants to make it around to pit road to load the car.
Yeah, I believe so.
And Ryan Preece, that car won't steer, it's against the wall. Now Almirola, that's prior damage. He just got back out there. And maybe a little current damage. Watch 77 right here.
Well, and I knew those cars were going to stall out. You can see right there, Ryan Preece sort of pushes Chastain down onto the apron. As soon as it gets down the apron, he loses control. And heavy, heavy impact to the 22 of Logano from Chastain. Car goes sideways. He tries to correct. You know, those kinds of impacts for Logano, it might not look as big of an impact as what we see some of these other cars because of the damage, but when you get right into the driver's side door and then the passenger side door goes to the wall, those hurt.
That almost looks, Jeff, like the right rear went down with all those sparks and the car just took off.
I think the car, once he came up on the apron, the car just got a little sideways. He tried to correct, and it caught the banking and shot the nose over.
The only driver in this race that was in the 2001 Daytona 500.
That's like back in your era, Jeff.
Oh, no. Almirola Bowman.
Oh, the 24's on his side. Remember what I said, Clint, about 21 cars? I don't know if we got there, but man, that took out a lot of race cars and a lot of great race cars in there.
I know Eric Almirola was one of the front ones up front, so anytime that happens up front, you're going to take out a lot of them. There's Jamie McMurray.
All these cars stuck in that mode. You can see the outside, 48, Alex Bowman doing a little side drafting to the right side of Eric Almirola.
And I see a gap in between Eric and the 20 car.
And look at the push coming from Kyle Busch to his teammate, Christopher Bell. Now that's going to get him to the rear bumper.
Big shot.
Oh, he just got over on that right side.
I can tell you another part of that equation, Jeff. These cars, they have skew in the rear ends. That's obviously for speed and make the cars go fast, make them pull up to other cars. It's also, in my experience, makes them squirrely. When that car hits him, it pushes that car into the steer of the rear end, and it can turn you in a heartbeat.
We're so reminiscent when Eric Almirola lost the lead in the closing yards of this race in 2018.
He was along for the ride. As soon as that contact hit, it just turned his car right. He took the words right out of my mouth. Unbelievable. Crushing blow to so many teams, so many efforts that it goes into having fast cars and being at this Daytona 500. That was a lot of heavy hitters in this one.
We're going to ride with Ryan Newman through this.
Well, look at that 24 car go up on the side on two wheels.
Smashed just as badly as he got with his primary car
that's
Thursday
his backup car.
At least a dozen cars involved. Oh, David Reagan torn up as well.
Back to 2 wide, but he's in the middle lane. Gotta run with him in the middle lane. Airline's got a little bit more of a run. 43 closing on you. But still has got spinning top, spinning top, spinning top.
Just nothing you can do when it happens up front like that.
Carnage in the first 15 laps of the Daytona 500. Will Dillon have help? No, they come down to block. Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him. McDowell in tow. Dillon on the bottom.
The run's on top. Oh! Teammates.
Around they go in a hard crash. Kyle Busch.
Larson.
Caution is out.
Bubba Wallace is in this. Austin Cindric. Hard hit by Kyle Busch. Caution's out.
McDowell is first to the line, but will have to go back to the moment of caution, which ends the race. Brad Keselowski is climbing out. He's okay. Joey Logano we see taking off the gloves and the steering wheel.
I think McDowell's the winner of this race, guys.
He was first across the line. NASCAR will review and have to determine the finish at the moment of caution. And we'll wait for official word.
Huge win if that's the case.
But Bob Jenkins' Front Row Motorsports crew is celebrating on pit road.
Oh, wouldn't that be incredible? You're going to see some emotion out of this guy if this comes back official.
A lot of tore up race cars.
All the Chevys torn up. You saw Priest with damage. Chase Elliott with damage.
This was a really hard hit. Kyle Busch when he came in.
Yes. And the AMR safety crew very quickly on the scene. Being directed.
Look at the damage to the wall.
It's a bumper cover up there. And there's Kyle Busch climbing out. That is a great sign, and that means everybody has climbed from their cars after a huge pile up on the final lap of the Daytona 500. NASCAR is still reviewing video footage because when they hit the caution light, that timestamps all video to determine the order of finish at the moment of caution.
Huge run, went for it, Joey was obviously had to block.
Question is, where did that caution come out? Chase Elliott pulls ahead of Michael McDowell.
Oh, look at the run he got right there, though.
Dowell, the run on the outside with a little help from Hamlin.
All right, we know the caution was out there. We saw some caution lights where Michael McDowell and the 3 of Austin Dillon pulled ahead of Chase Elliott.
And Michael McDowell from Glendale, Arizona, for Bob Jenkins Front Row Motorsports, has won the Daytona 500.
How about that?
Man.
That's a huge win for Michael McDowell and that team. Doesn't get any bigger than this.
And a huge crash for everybody else. McDowell is the 40th.
Side of the bumper Denny gets to. Told Denny to calm down just a little bit back there. Denny said he was just trying to learn for later.
Oh, no! Big crash on the back straightaway takes out William Byron, Kyle Busch, and Harrison Burton. Oh, crap.
Somebody was upside down. I don't know who it was.
Lap 63, caution number 3.
I would say it's that 21 car, it looks like, by looking at the roof.
Alex Bowman's in it. Somebody took a hard shot to the rear bumper that we saw on the onboard camera. Around it went. Ross Chastain involved. Now watch the 21 up high with Brad Keselowski behind.
He's flanked off that right-hand side.
Come off the corner, the car got light exactly like I was talking about. Man, it went over too. I was right. Dang it. A lot of good cars.
Denny Hamlin with a spin there, not sure how much damage. Kyle Busch, 24 of William Byron. They're both going to get swept up in this.
Oh.
Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell gets into Burton. And that's a long slide on the asphalt into the safer barrier, hard for Byron.
Half in front, tight out the back, tight in front, all the way, wrecking here, wrecking.
Oh, man.
Keep rolling if you can, just lock it down, let them come under you.
I don't think Denny's got, never mind. I almost said he didn't have much damage, but he definitely has a lot. I just feel like that's a pretty aggressive, pushing, obviously, on a rookie. Tony, you talked about it. Again, come off of that corner, got light, and that thing was long for the ride, but very aggressive pushing.
That is not at all what you're looking for. That kid is sitting there going, what happened? He said, lucky it didn't bite right there.
Yep.
And here's Harrison Burton on the radio.
Yeah, you can't push to the right, Brad. I mean, Dale.
I know. Is it going anywhere or just spinning the tires?
That's lit.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
All right, let's ride along.
All right. So Stenhouse left his dancing partner. He went down, chose to go down and blocked it.
Whoa! Spinning around and into the fence goes Harvick. And it's a 7-car jam session.
Eric Jones is in it. Noah Gregson's in it. Dang it. Chase Elliott.
Todd Gilliland all torn up and climbing out. Kyle Larson hoping for his first top 5 in the 500. Now Kevin Harvick can't see both sides of that car to assess damage. But
I do. Yeah. Left front is way towed in. It's hurt bad.
And Noah Gragson, the Cinderella story of Team 62. Eric Jones, who was poised for a top 5 finish. From the Goodyear blimp, Harvick outside of Keselowski there, and Bubba Wallace.
Here comes Larson. Oh. Jammed up.
Larson had a huge run on the outside, and he was trying to slow that momentum down to get to him. But as he got to him, it kind of seemed like Kevin was having, the 17 was backing up to Kevin as well, and it just accordiated.
Yeah, the Harvick was having to slow down. Larson's got a huge run here, but
watch Kevin try to.
Kevin's got to run on the 17
up.
at the same time, so Kevin has to check up here, and Kyle's got a ton of momentum.
Yeah, you saw Kevin kind of move to the outside, and Larson was trying to tee him up, square him up, so it was a good bump draft, and they both hit at an angle and spun him around.
And you could see how the exhaust pipes out of the 5 car. You could see where he lifted.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he just ran in there and plowed through.
And 2 cars that shoot through the middle, Kyle Busch and David Reagan in the 15.
One more inside, then you're clear low.
He moved up to square up to the 17 right at the time as the 5 hit him. It's just a timing thing, accordioned, and away they went. Dang it, took out a lot of good ones there as well.
Let's ride with Chase Briscoe.
Now by himself. Check up low, stay in it, lower, stay in it.
I don't mind that. I think he wanted him to go low. Blaney. I knew it.
But where we need to watch is this 45 car and the 4 car on the outside. A little bit of gap here. Kevin closes in, contact with the 45. That's what also catches the 12.
And then it's on.
Yeah, it didn't take much. It looked like Tyler was having trouble holding on to it, and as soon as that 4 got back to his bumper in the corner, it just unfortunately turned him right into the 12.
Let's listen to Harvick here.
I just got it in the wrong spot of the corner there. I don't know if I actually even touched him, but just came out from underneath him.
Man, did you see how close Chastain was to that?
Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, Daniel Suarez are all collateral damage.
Oh,
they're wrecking.
Big wreck.
That's a product of catching those cars. Everybody's on a little bit different.
A pileup in turn 1 with 18 laps to go. Michael McDowell, Ryan Preece, Martin Truex among those involved.
We'll see what happens here when they get to turn 1.
Make them all. So you can see the pipes and the 2 car. He was lifting hard, stacks them up behind them. McDowell gets in the back of Priest, turns him around, the rest is history. But I take it back to Gregson. You see that lap car that they were going around. Always movement like that creates them stacking up.
And Ryan Preece has driven to the garage. The Berlin, Connecticut driver had a great 500 going. And you'll see the accordion-like contact here in that upper lane. Just all piles together.
When you see that fireball come out of the pipes, that means they lift. That raw fuel's in the pipes all the way out of the gas, and it just so on and so forth, stacked them all the way up through the field. Finally, one of them got spit out.
We're going to ride with the Bass Pro Shops cam on board Martin Truex.
Whoa.
Boom.
And Martin had no idea what was happening there. That happened so quick, There was no way he could react to that.
Big shove by Larson.
And around goes the 3. Crash in turn 3.
That fast. Unbelievable.
And that will decimate roughly half the remaining field. Christopher Bell drops in, and Dillon may have got a shot from William Byron. Maybe not. Not sure from that angle, but up he went and down he came.
Dillon got in the back of Busch and had to check up. When he did, it stacked William and everybody up behind him. They turned him. Rest is history. That's just a product of it. It's go time. green, white, checkered, you knew that was about to happen.
But aside from that, great move by Ricky Stenhouse.
Harrison Burton.
All good. You got the help.
Larson tried to go to the middle. Oh, he got turned.
Larson Pastrana in the fence. We are
Keselowski's
still
out.
green. No, the caution is out. And we'll wait for official word on whether Ricky Stenhouse or Joey Logano has won the Daytona 500.
Come to the checker first, baby.
Christopher Bell in the mix. Those 3 cars out in front of the crash.
Slow down.
They'll
Slow
have to
down.
cross the line, but
It's all
one
good.
of them
Locked in.
will win the Daytona 500.
What is Bell doing here? Oh.
On the track, caution and checker.
Chevy, Ford, Stenhouse, Logano. Here is how this will be decided. It is not the flag. It is not the caution lights. It is NASCAR's decision as to where those 2 cars were when the button was pushed to activate the caution, and Ricky Stenhouse has won the Daytona 500.
Crash! 2 cars slam together, and Harrison Burton takes a wild ride through the grass and up into more traffic, gets tagged, turned around, and 5 cars are in it. Ryan Preece.
I think he missed that inside wall. Harrison Burton, big damage on the 21 car.
And Carson Hocevar, the rookie, gets taken out into that very, very wet grass in the ball field.
Well,
the Wood brothers trying for their 100th ever NASCAR win, and Harrison Burton gets tagged and sent.
Well, this is exactly what you don't want to see happen. Something early in this race where everybody's trying to race hard, and we just talked about those guys going to that 3rd lane, and it puts those guys in the middle lane in a bad spot with the handling of their cars that they hadn't really been in. Let's see what happened, Clint.
Watch the 21, Harrison Burton.
Okay, you see Harrison Burton in the middle of that 3-wide conversation we're talking about, and we were also talking about John Hunter Nemechek kind of being iffy on his move.
Now the 42, John Hunter Nemechek on the outside of Burton, the green and white car, and Brad Keselowski and he make contact.
Keselowski got to his rear bumper, just took a little bit of a love tap, turned him sideways, kind of looked to me like he was on the left corner of that bumper, turned him right down into Harrison Burton.
Well, and it's just what we were talking about, Clint, with everybody trying to feel out exactly what their cars were doing, and those guys in the middle didn't have anything to do with the handling. So, you know, you see Brad into the back. Oh, yeah, you're exactly right, Clint. The 42 car of John Hunter Nemechek just got up a little higher. Brad was probably trying to stay square and being pushed by the guy behind him, and they just got a little bit offset right there.
Austin Dillon, Jimmy.
Now Logano the outside. They can't get around.
Whoa! Keselowski gets turned by William Byron. Blaney gets caught up. Gilliland, Truex, Hamlin, and more.
All those Fords were struggling to get around Chastain. Who could get around and get that clean air track position first? That's what happened.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. I mean, it's a parking lot down there. Cars parked everywhere.
Blaney out. Big damage on him.
Toe link broke on the back. That one's done.
Keselowski all wadded up. Gilliland, the black and red car, right with him. Anthony Alfredo there.
Reddick, massive damage on him.
Thursday night winner Tyler Reddick. Martin Truex. Eric Jones comes to pit road. So does Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin made it back to the pits. So did Chris Buescher.
Well, it just
a lot of damage.
It just always gets to this point as you get to the end of the race. The pushes get harder. Everybody's just throwing caution to the wind to say, the heck with it. I'm going to the front. Martin Truex tore it. He's tore it bad right there.
Well, Chastain, I mean, I'd say he was a lone wolf up there. He was throwing blocks left and right, and they were making moves.
It was Alex Bowman with a push into William Byron that did not go well.
But it was the movement in front of them started stacking those guys up.
And you see Alex Bowman up the racetrack, and then they start zigging and zagging here. And
well, obviously William Byron and Bowman, that's where it ended up. But the movement from the 6 and the 22, jockeying for position, trying to outduel one another to that position of passing Chastain, that's what stacked all those guys up and got them in trouble. Those guys were going for it. Chastain was holding them up. You saw the 6 go to the bottom. You saw the 22 go to the outside. The race was on, and unfortunately those guys behind him.
This gives you a much better view right there. You see the 24 car just being pushed, and sometimes you're not aligned, and you know you're not lifting, and that car gets to moving around, and you hope it works out, and it just didn't work out right here.
We saw this same scenario playing out at the duels the other night when Blaney got in a wreck. You really can't pin it on anybody. It's hard racing, everybody going for it, but when those cars move in front of them, it slows the energy down.
Oh my gosh. If that left rear quarter panel wasn't curved in a little bit, I mean, it went right with the curvature of the left rear quarter panel.
Ross Chastain and Brandon McReynolds did a phenomenal job of keeping those guys behind him. Had he slipped up one time and missed a block, he'd have been right in the middle of that. Something happened with a shift or something. Stack that outside lineup in the wrecking.
Oh, crash. Ross Chastain, Castroneves, and others.
Logano, you heard him say something's wrong with the car, and you see how the power, obviously everybody's going by, starts stacking them up one by one all the way back. Accordion effect happens. Then Chastain gets turned up into LEO.
Yep, John Hunter Nemechek got the corner of Chastain, which went up and into the wall.
And then there's Kyle Busch spinning around back there, product of that penalty. Mistakes bite people, bite these teams each and every week.
And that's the exact scenario that they got into last year, as we see another angle here.
Watch that green and white car as things stack up, gets tipped and comes down. Didn't drive into Chastain, but got tipped down there.
The further that accordion's back, the harder those hits get, and eventually somebody gets
late on that block.
He's still trying. He's up.
Trying to squeeze it, couldn't do it. Into the wall goes Logano. And with him goes Blaney and Gregson and Chase Elliott.
Got a little greedy there, Kevin.
And it all happened at 5th place.
Yeah.
5th to 25th.
And you see the left front of Stenhouse's car torn up. 22.
Get it back to the box here.
What an effort. What a run. All comes to an end. 15 to go.
And we knew this was coming. And that was just one of those situations where the 22 and the 47 just did not want to give.
They will make it back to pit road, but their chances of winning the Daytona 500 are dashed. 2 of the 3 Team Penske cars
right
involved.
Pushed in at the nose. Front of the tire, everything looks straight. Right rear's far.
Ryan Blaney led 22 laps. Had one of the best 2 or 3 cars here, as did his teammate Joey Logano.
I don't know if we're going to make it back, Paul.
And Logano's against the wall in the short chute between turn 4 and the start-finish line. Just trying to make it back, and it won't steer, except to the right.
I don't think he's going to be able to get it back. He's super frustrated, I can only imagine.
Well, this place is the scene of triumph and heartbreak.
Stop there moving records out here to you now.
That right rear being broke's the reason he can't get it
And there
back.
is heartbreak. All right, let's watch Ricky Stenhouse in the 47 here.
Yeah, and you're going to see the 22 get a big run right here. Stenhouse is going to come down the racetrack to cover the block on Joey Logano. It's super tight, but we're 15 laps to go in the Daytona 500. You see the flames come out of the Logano car. You're going to watch the 22 car start to get, he's not giving up on trying to get this position, and they just all run out of room right there, Clint.
Kyle Busch got knocked to the inside as well as those cars that crashed into the outside.
I did not see him. Joey's going to be very frustrated with that, with Stenhouse, obviously. But a little bit of patience. I think as fast as his car was, he was. This isn't the scenario that I think I would want if I was a teammate, you know, with being door-to-door with my teammate, Hamlin and Bell, for the front.
There he gets Bell into the wall.
Off of the front bumper,
Custer, and up in the air goes Ryan Preece. And for the second time in his career, he is flipping at Daytona. Good grief.
Off the front bumper, we were talking about a lap before. Custer got to his bumper. That thing went side to side, and he couldn't hold on to it. It was one too many.
Ryan Preece, a couple of years ago here, flipped down the backstretch after getting caught in the grass. There is Christopher Bell with the window net down. That signifies to the rescue workers that he is okay. Same with Ryan Preece. So much promise for this new ride with RFK Racing, and great speed in that car all week long.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that window net down. That was a really odd wreck with the way that front of that car got up in the air and then it blew over. Just happy to see him crawling out of that car.
I don't think I've ever seen one get up in a wheelie like that and blow over.
And there's his boss, Brad Keselowski, with a lot of damage from this one.
Well, you knew it was coming. Boy, the pushes were coming. They just kept, the aggression kept going higher and higher and higher. Christopher Bell just couldn't hold on to it.
Well, his car was just not capable of taking the pushes. We had just mentioned it a half a lap before that the back of that 20 car was all over the place. But at this point, you have no choice. You have to be able to just try to hang on to it. And
watch this thing off the bumper of Cole Custer. It just continues to get worse and worse as they come down through this straightaway. Starts there, starts dancing around across the front bumper. Some more here, gets crossed up. Rest is history. There it goes. Now watch the 60 car, Preece. Bam!
Yeah, you saw the.
Gets up on the. That's wild. I've never seen a car do that. That shows how fast they go.
And they pile up behind him. This is from Eric Jones. Oh.
Whoa. You think these guys aren't tough?
A devastating crash for Ryan Preece. An incredible camera work by our Fox crew.
I'm so glad to see that window net down and him be able to get out of that thing. Whew, that's scary.
It's unbelievable what it looks like when these cars get caught by the air like that. And I'm with you, Clint. I've never seen one take off with a wheelie like that. But they just flip around like they don't weigh 3,600 pounds.
Well, nothing weighs that much at 186 miles an hour.
Saw the airbox just blow away. The right front tucked up underneath the A-post there.
Car did its job, though.
And he walked away.
So many safety enhancements in these race cars.